Hey, I finally made it over here to LaGrange, Kentucky at the street run in town. All right, we do have a couple trains in route too. I came here late. I just got here about, it's almost 6:30, but I got here kind of late because there just weren't any trains coming through. But we got one coming right now. It's got 2 BNSF units leading it and about 71 odd racks empty. Headed southbound. So here's the festival. Whole bunch of vendors over here, and not sure what all is going on. Here's a band somewhere. I want to find the band. Plus, I got to watch the music that's being played over there in that building. I don't want any copyrights on here. So there's the police department over here, and the street running track goes right down the middle of Main Street, right in front of me. So let's find this a train. It won't be very long until one comes up this way. I think they're playing Johnny Cash over there right now. Look at there. All right, we're going to cut before we get copyright strike. Here we go. Let's get a train. Hey, the courthouse has come along pretty good since last time I was here. Wonder when that's going to be opened back up again. Does anybody know? Well, it's come a long ways. Hey, here's something really interesting. Check this out. Here's a wheel that came off of a steam engine, and this was used as a fire bell for the original fire department. They used this up in the early 1900s, all the way up to about 1938 until it was replaced by a fire siren. I'll show you where the original fire station was. Right over there, original fire station. It says 1916 on it. And LaGrange has a population of 10,067. It's the county seat of Oldham County, Kentucky. All right, here we go. It's been 6 hours since the train went through. Last one went through 11:15 a.m. That clock is right also. It's about 7:14 p.m. Six hours between trains. That's why I got here kind of late. I knew there wasn't going to be anything for a while. These auto racks. Oh, that was loud. I was gonna say, these auto racks are all empty. That was pretty loud. I guess they're speeding up. Once the locomotives get off the street running track, they can speed up. They have to go 10 miles an hour while they're on the street, just the locomotives. Then they can increase it up to track speed about 25 miles an hour after the locomotives are off the street. So you'll notice it's speeding up. There's an articulated car. Both those sections together, that's one car. So if you count that as two cars, you're going to come up with 72 on this train. And it should be 71. It's over 6,000 feet long. Goes. There's a lot of people filming this one too, since we got the Rail Fest going on. It goes on till 9 o'clock. A lot of the vendors already left. Alright, there you go. Here's the track right down the middle of the road. Yeah, there was quite a few vendors, even where I'm standing right here earlier on. and down that way on the road. Both sides of the road here were closed on Main Street. They were closed to through traffic, but a lot of the vendors left early. I'm not sure why. Maybe it just wasn't that busy, I guess. But like right here where I'm at, there were vendors here, and there's still some ice. They dumped a lot of their ice out right here. There's some ice right there. It's all starting to melt. Alrighty, hopefully we can get another train, because I know that there's another one coming. This train, when it left through Cincinnati and Covington, Kentucky, it had another train about an hour behind it. So hopefully we'll see that one too. Stick around, don't go away yet. That train was 6,881 feet long, had 298 axles. Too bad they couldn't have had just one more car on it to make 300 axles or more. You know, a little bit over 300. Here's downtown LaGrange after the train went through, and there's not really a whole lot of people here. The event goes on till 9 o'clock, and it's about 7:30 or so right now. So I'm gonna look around. I'm gonna go down to the observation tower. You can stand in and watch the trains go by. Let's go down there and check that out. You can see where the street running track ends right down there, where that stop sign is. Oh yeah, one more thing about that train. Now it was 6,881 feet here, but if you check that same train in Walton, Kentucky at the defect detector at milepost 89, you're going to get a different reading. It'll be different by somewhere around 100 to 150 feet, something like that. And I have stayed right there at Brakeman's Cottage. That's a great place to stay. You can get up in the middle of the night and film trains going through town. There's plenty of light there, so you can get a good video. And you can also stay at this cottage here. I haven't been there yet. Blue Cottage. I want to stay there. Also, you've got the observation tower right there, so you can watch trains from up there, film them. And then the train station is right down that way. You see the train station, there's an old steam locomotive from the UK sitting over there on the left, the green one. All kinds of cool stuff here to see. All right, here's some interesting things. On the right, you've got the milepost right there, 27. Walton is 89 and 90. There is a speed limit after the locomotives get off the street running track. They can go up to 25. On the other side of that, you'll see the speed limit. I'll show you that in a second. There's a signal, everything's on red. I don't think it shows up on the camera very good. Let's have a look over here. 10 miles per hour right there. The locomotives can only go 10 miles an hour until they get off the street. Once the locomotive's off the street, they can go up to 25. Now you know. On the way over here, I stopped at Walton, Kentucky, and I got some trains over there. Here, I'll show you a couple of trains I got in Walton, Kentucky. Here we go, then back to LaGrange. All right, check out this video. I got this video on the way to LaGrange. I stopped in Walton, Kentucky, and I got this one on my way to LaGrange. Here comes a southbound train. Gonna be coming around that curve right there anytime. There go the gates. And here comes the train, southbound. Something Q. I heard a Q in the designation, but I forgot what it was. Wow, that train was booking. What is the hurry? They gotta be somewhere. That was an ethanol train. And the two covered hopper cars at each end of it, those are spacer cars. So that was interesting. That was a good train. They were really flying. Southbound. Perfect weather today too. Look at this. Happy 71st birthday, Kenneth Cook, and thanks for watching my videos. Happy 49th birthday, Jimmy Johnson, on the 13th, and thanks for watching my videos. And guess what? We got another train coming too. I just heard them call out brought. They're coming from that direction right there. I'm trying to get some different angles around here. You can see the signals way down there on red. Got the train coming from that way to northbound. Hey, we got another birthday in the house. Robert Robinson. I don't know if I gave you a shout out or not, I can't remember, but happy birthday. And we have another train coming, another northbound. I'm still here in Walton, Kentucky. Norfolk Southern's been pretty busy today. CSX not so much, but it's usually like that. You can usually average at least one train per hour on Norfolk Southern during the daytime. At night, it's a little bit quieter. They're pretty close. Here they are. I see you. Times 2. TPUs. I saw yous. Check out the last 2 cars.
Norfolk Southern, milepost 20.0, no defects.
Wow, those last 2 cars were awesome. A couple of depressed center flats, heavy duty flat cars for hauling huge items. 2 of them. That was pretty cool. You know, one thing I've been noticing, a lot of these Norfolk Southern trains have one of those heavy-duty depressed center flats on the back. I've gotten at least a half a dozen in the past 5 or 6 months like that. At least that many. I think it's the first one I got that had 2 of them on the back. So they put them on the back for some reason. I even got one when I was in Harriman, Tennessee. It's at the end of a train. Well, that was pretty cool. That was good. Yeah, speaking of Tennessee, I was about to go to Tennessee. I was supposed to go, I think it's a week ago. It's on a Saturday. They have a miniature railroad at a park, and you can ride on the trains. So I think it's 7.5-inch gauge. I was going to go to that, but the weather was terrible, and we've been having all that rain, and it was supposed to be raining in Tennessee at the same time. So I didn't go. I was all ready to go, wanted to, but I didn't get that one. I want to go to that park sometime. That would have been really cool because there's other stuff around that area I wanted to see also. I even had the perfect motel to stay at. It had a view of the railroad. Jet way up there. See if we can see it. There it is. All right, well, thanks for watching. There's the Flying Duchess, the old steam locomotive. It's on display here. I've got pictures of that before they painted it. They got a caboose down there too, passenger car. I got some video showing the insides of all these cars. A little Plymouth engine right there with a flat car. The flat car is interesting because it's got wooden chocks for brakes because it was used inside of a military depot and they didn't want to have sparks, so they used wood for the brakes instead of steel. And there's the train station museum. They've got some train sets down in the basement. They're pretty cool. There's a little Plymouth up close. And then here's this special flat car I wanted to show. Look at the brakes here, made out of wood, so you don't get a spark. I think it came from a military depot in Indiana. I believe that's what I was told. So they've got a nice long piece of track right there with picnic tables and everything. There you go, nice looking station. Cool stuff. Here's the back of the station again, and look over here. Here's a signal, it's on green. So we do have another train lined up. Got another southbound lined up. Let's get back over to the street run section, see if we can get it over there somewhere. That clock does work over there, and we got a train coming. Finally getting another one. We still got some light here. I switched cameras to my newer camera. All right, we got the M575 coming through right now. There we go. Finally. Let's see if the gates come on. There it comes. Not a rail fan. Get out the way. Train coming. Now this one should have 2 DPUs in the middle. Southbound. Go right up the middle of the road. That's the way to get around. check out this auto rack. The door's open on the end. You can see right into it. That's pretty cool. Look at that. Who's in there? I can feel the ground shaking a little bit here, standing on the sidewalk. That one made the sidewalk shake. I could feel it that time. Got some heavy tankers, they're loaded. Placards 3257 says hot. DPUs, I see yous. Alrighty, there you go. Man, that was a good one. That was a monster train. It took about 10 minutes to go by. Well, thanks for watching my videos, everyone. If you got time, check out another one. I got a long drive home, and I hope you can hear me. Ooh, it's loud here. Alright, we'll see you later. Check out another video if we can. There's Jessie. She's coming over here by the pond. The pond is completely filled back up again after all that rain we had. 9 days in a row. Wow, I've never seen anything like that before. I didn't think it was going to ever stop raining. So we didn't have any rain today or yesterday, but we got a few days in a row coming up with rain. Yeah, this pond in the fall was the lowest it had ever been because we had a drought going on. Then we go from a major drought to record-setting rainfalls. Got to figure out a way to get all these small trees and weeds and brush back from my fences. See this? Because they need a lot of work. Chessie's over there chasing that duck. And there's wild man Loki. Look at there. He can swim. He actually goes over to the island. The island's right there. The poor Canada geese, they always have babies here, but something always attacks them. There was a few baby geese that Mrs. Tooth filmed. I never even got to see them. And they're gone. Something got them again. I thought that island would be something that would help the geese so they could have babies over there, but something gets them everywhere. I mean, it could be coyotes, foxes, I don't know what it is. Probably coyotes. Well, there you go. There's Lake Jawtooth on the compound. Aha, we got her swimming. As soon as I came over, she stopped swimming. She was in the water though, only out there a couple feet. Dogs love getting in this water. All the dogs I've ever had, they've always done that. They love swimming. I used to have a really good rail fan dog named Prince. It's a small white dog. He's buried right here. And when I first started my channel, he went all over the place with me. Every time I went to film trains, Prince was with me. So, yeah, if you look at my really old videos, you'll see a white dog. He was a good one. They're all good dogs. But yeah, I had him for a long time. Got him when he was only like a foot long. He was a rescue dog. We rescued him. He was some people on the road, next road over, goes way back around that way, Lindsay Road. There was some people who had that little puppy, and my daughter found out about it. It was going to die. This is in winter time, and so I said, well, you got to take it to the vet, you know, just common sense. But they didn't have the money, so I went over and got the dog, took it to the vet. It was in really bad shape. The vet was asking what happened to it because it didn't have any fur or anything. It just, the dog looked really terrible, and he was only like a foot long. It's a little tiny puppy. So they got him back, got him nursed back to health, and he lived a full life right here. We had him for at least 15 years. And then he passed away, and he's buried right here. Small white dog. He was a really good dog. Oh, I got a boat swimming. Look at there. Both swimming together. That was pretty cool. Man, I wish I had some of the energy that that dog has right there. Look at that. He's about 2 years old. I just put up a historic video of him just recently from 2 years ago when he got his first shots and everything. He got dewormed and all his shots when he was just a little tiny, fat little puppy. So he's about 2. Something just jumped in the water. Water's all the way to my boat. See there?